Welcome back to another voiceover tutorial. In this video, I'll go more in depth on how I design a concept and get inspiration, and I'll show you how I draw a more complex scene with a background and realistic lighting. Whenever I'm looking for inspiration, I always start on Pinterest. I prefer to take a lot of time finding something that I'll be excited about, then start drawing right away and make something I'm not proud of, so I recommend you don't rush yourself. Sometimes my vision might change entirely based on something I find. I have a bunch of Pinterest boards with clothes, jewelry, makeup, and other things I can add to my drawings. I also have this absurdist mood board with my friend, which for some reason is the only board anyone else ever saves pins from, but all my reference boards are public if you want to check them out. What happened here was that I realized I had been drawing a lot of close-ups recently, so I thought I would do more of a full body drawing here. I've also been going on Google Maps Street View and finding cool places to draw, so I wanted to include a detailed background. You can find really great references for a lot of places on sites like Pinterest, but I think Google Maps is honestly really underrated. The Street View feature isn't in every city, but when it is, it's so much easier to find the exact place and camera angle you're looking for. I've also found that it's much harder to find just pictures of everyday locations. For example, here's just a street corner in Athens, which I found in like 5 seconds, but if you search Athens on Pinterest, you get a bunch of super polished and edited pictures of the Acropolis and a bunch of articles that are just like things to do in Athens. And honestly, Google Maps is probably the closest thing to a European vacation I'll get this summer. As for the character, I knew from the background she would be in the sun, so I found some references for the lighting, and I found some for the pose as well. I also really liked this person's hair, so I decided to give my character that hairstyle as well. So now that we're getting into the character design, I don't want to totally go off, but I really hate seeing people dressing their OCs in boring ass clothes. I think one of the important things to remember about basically every aspect of a character is that it's a chance to express who they are. So when you're designing an outfit, you should pick something that will show who this person is, or how they're feeling, or their job or what they're doing at the moment, and it should just say something about them. The character I'm drawing today has a very feminine dress sense and is outwardly very soft and kind, so when I saw this top, I thought it would be great for her. But she's also sharp-witted and has a good sense of humor. And all my OCs are bad bitches, even the men, so I decided to use this dress for inspiration and give her a latex skirt and change the cups in the shirt from whatever this is to latex as well. I also just love drawing shiny things. My sketching and coloring process doesn't really differ from drawing to drawing, so I'm just going to speed through it here. If you want to see a more detailed explanation, you can watch my previous tutorial, but basically I'm getting basic shapes and colors with a hard round brush, and then refining them until they look good. Blending is pretty much the same as with my other drawings too. Once I finish the character, I'm going to move on to the background. My process for drawing backgrounds is pretty different from drawing people because I skip sketching entirely and go straight to flat colors. It's not as important to add a lot of detail because I'll blur it out later, so I also don't really have to worry about matching the reference exactly. When the basic shapes are finished, I lower the brush's opacity and keep working, mainly on matching the lighting and colors. While I'm doing this, I try to keep in mind the character's position, so I don't waste time on an area that won't be visible. Once again, it's not a big deal if certain parts don't look so great, but if you want to add a lot of detail, you should go for it, because this part of the process can honestly get really addicting. The next step is to use Gaussian blur and the lasso tool to blur their background. I blur everything at first, but then I select specific areas that are further away and then blur them more in order to show the distance. When I finish that, I notice the colors of the figure in the background don't really match, so I used a bunch of filters and overlay or soft light layers in order to fix that. Once I'm satisfied, I'll merge those layers and add some more colors in soft light mode to really pull everything together. I also decided to add a little blue light on one side for added depth. And lastly, I add my watermark and put a film grain filter over everything. And that's all for this tutorial. I really hope you liked it, and I'll see you next time.